You need to save money. Yeah, duh, I knew that already. But how much? What if you barely have enough to live on? And where? There are so many different account types. Which one should I choose? My name is Christian Bell, and here we talk about all things personal finance. Today we're going to talk about savings, why you need it, different types, and why it's so important. So why save money? The truth is that savings is hard. It requires delayed gratification, and that's hard. So building up a healthy savings habit is hard, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's a long-term process, but like any habit, the benefits of what you did yesterday and last year and 10 years before that will compound. And that's where you start seeing the greatest benefit of good savings habits. But we all have to start somewhere. If you really actually think that you have $0 to save, the first priority should be getting a solid budget in order. Check out the videos on budgeting here. Now, regardless of how much money you save per month, consistency over the long term is way more important than saving some large amount but only once. And a big part of why is compound interest. There's a reason why compound interest is called the eighth wonder of the world. Now, another huge benefit of saving is lower stress. Who hasn't lay awake at night wondering how you're going to pay your bills, or how long could you survive if you lost your job tomorrow? Maybe it's your kid's college fund, or maybe retirement. All of these are very real savings goals, and not having enough money for them causes stress, persistent stress. And this stress tends to seep into every other aspect of our life, how we think, the decisions we make, all of it. So reducing this stress makes everything about your finances easier. For me, I stress a lot about losing my job. It'd be a pretty huge financial setback, but that's why building savings is a big priority for me. It's helping a ton to reduce that stress. A third benefit of savings is more choices. At its core, financial freedom is really all about choice. It's about having choice in what you do with your time. This means having enough money to be self-sufficient, not having to work to live. But maybe you love your job. Maybe going to work is genuinely exciting for you. So why save? Without savings, you're gambling. And not just on one thing, but on several things. You're gambling that you'll always be employed through bull markets and through recessions. You're gambling that you'll be able to work at the job you love, even with whatever health events may happen to you. You're gambling that you'll continue to love your job or industry in 5, 10, 30 years from now. You're gambling that you'll work literally until you die. Without savings, how else would you live? You're gambling that your income and lifestyle will always match up. What if you need to move? What will raises be next year? Will it match inflation? For me, that is way too much gambling. I'd much rather have enough savings, so I'll still be all right no matter what happens to my job, to the economy, or to my health. Even better, with enough savings, you really start to have more choices for how to live your life. Now, savings don't solve all of life's problems, not by any means, but they do tend to help. A fourth benefit of savings is making more money with money. There's a great quote from Warren Buffett. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die. In general, you always want to be moving from trading time for dollars to having your dollars make more dollars for you. For most people, this typically happens through owning stocks, but it all starts with savings. Now, savings can get complicated, but to start out, it doesn't have to be. For me, I like to define really two general categories of savings. The first is an emergency fund. Now, the point of this money is to avoid having to take out high-interest predatory debt because of unexpected expenses. Things like job loss, car repair, medical bill. Experts will give different numbers for how much you should have in an emergency fund. 3 to 6 months, 9 months. For self-employed people, more is probably smart. 12 months, even more. This is a lot of money for most people. I've heard reasonable arguments that an emergency fund doesn't need to be quite that big. Maybe because your profession is in high demand. Maybe you can find another job quickly if you're laid off. This is gambling that your profession stays in demand. Yeah, it might not. 3 to 6 months of expenses is a lot, and it might take you a while to get there. That's fine. It's more important to start the habit and to keep at it. Automation and budgeting apps are especially helpful here. Saving 10% from each paycheck is a solid start. For me, I prefer more, but I'm pretty aggressive with savings. Bonus time, tax return, inheritance, save it. If you can, save all of it. But where do I store an emergency fund? Typically, you'll want it in a savings account, so your money is very safe and you can get to it quickly when you need it. There are high-interest savings accounts which pay you a little more interest, which is nice, although I would be careful about trying to optimize this too much. The dollar amounts we're talking about here for most people may not be worth the time and hassle. Now, savings accounts are intended for saving, not spending. So the government sets a max number of withdrawals per month, so make sure you don't go over it because you'll pay fees. And who wants to pay fees? Now, the second major category for savings is longer-term savings, buying a car or a home, saving for a wedding, vacations, or a retirement. For these, you need to find out two things: how much and by when. Then you simply calculate how much you'll need to save per month to get there. Once you have that number, you can consider more nuanced things, like where to store that money. This will influence any interest you'll earn as it's being stored. In general, the sooner you need the money, the less interest you can earn on it. A useful guideline is if you need it in less than 5 years, you want to use safer investments like bonds or CDs. On the other hand, if you need it in more than 5 years, you can probably aim for a higher return, like with stocks. Also, a huge help is to open a separate savings account, or if you're using a budget like a zero-based budgeting, this is simply a separate category. The point is that you don't think about this savings as money for spending right now, because it's not. It's money for later. That's all for this video. I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!